The mainstream media is an absolute joke. They do no research into the topics that they're posting articles about, and they do not want to give people credit where credit is due if they do not agree with them politically. And that is exactly what's happening right now because Jeff Grubb has stolen the Corinne Bush leaves BioWare scoop from Grummz and SmashJT, and the mainstream media is crediting him for it. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, I get it. I do not trust the journos. You should not trust the journos, and this isn't shocking, but it is still disappointing to see them never changing. They never try to understand where we are coming from. They never try to act professional. And now, of course, Jeff Grubb has stolen this scoop, and the mainstream media is propping him up for it. So this is a SmashJT article. It says this is all getting pretty gross. Trust in mainstream games journalism is at an all-time low and somehow seemingly plummeting even further as the days pass. Jeff Grubb has provided everyone with yet another glaring example of why that trust has been eroding. Hours after Grummz and I broke the news via X and followed up with an article and video detailing the departure of Corinne Bush, the former director of Dragon Age the Veilguard, from BioWare, Jeff Grubb conveniently swoops in to pass off the scoop as if it were common knowledge or a generic conversation. Now, I get when news starts spreading across the internet, people are going to talk about it and screenshot articles and not give credit where credit is due. That's just something that happens. But when a scoop was this new and clearly it had been posted hours before by a different source, you'd think the mainstream media would have recognized that and credited that OG source. But because content creators like myself, SmashJT, and Mark Kern have called out the mainstream industry and the access media, they will not give us any sort of credit because they're so upset with the fact that, well, we're doing their jobs better than they are. So, without referencing anything or quote tweeting any source, nice journalism there, buddy, Grubb tweeted at 8:41 p.m. PST on January 16th, Corinne Bush, the director of Dragon Age, really is leaving BioWare, but I don't think EA is closing BioWare. Edmonton was told there is nothing solid about that part of the rumor, and this came a full 4 hours after their initial report. So it's not even like it's 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later and everyone got the same information at the same time. 4 hours is a massive amount of time, and there's absolutely no excuse other than political bias as to why the mainstream isn't giving people the right credit. And thanks to everyone who is pointing out that reporting like this is what made me leaker of the year on gaming leaks and rumors. Okay, relax. Lots of you are now throwing the word hero around, and while I agree that you wouldn't have ever learned about the story without me, I'll settle for role model to all people. So he's clearly trying to troll, and it's like he's trying to rub it in the faces of SmashJT and Mark Kern that he is believed within the industry and that, oh, everybody loves him within the media, which is so fucking disgusting. He decided to actually double down after being called out for the theft by taking even more credit, yet somehow his initial vague tweet was immediately elevated by the mainstream gaming media as the definitive source. Eurogamer said whispers of her exit began circulating online last night and were first confirmed by Jeff Grubb. PC Gamer said the first confirmation comes from Jeff Grubb, VG247. This is according to Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, Games Radar, Jeff Grubb, The Gamer, Games Industry, IGN, Push Square. I'm not shocked. This is why you should not trust the access media. These people are scumbags and they do not care about actually looking professional. All they really care about is propping up people within their own industry. I get that there are tons of people on the internet, no matter who they are, no matter what space they're in, that create rumors and create reports in order to get attention. That happens in every single industry. So I get why they might be skeptical if it was just a random, 200 follower account on X, right? But we're not talking about that situation. We are talking about established individuals within this industry. And if they really were still skeptical, why didn't anybody from any of these outlets reach out to Mark Kern? Why did they not reach out to SmashJT? Because they didn't want to, because they didn't want to believe that they could actually have insider information. While I have not seen any responses from any of these journos about this situation, and I doubt that we will see a direct response on like these articles and on their web pages, it wouldn't shock me if over the next couple of days or weeks we actually see the access media melt down over this situation and basically put out articles talking about how you need to be careful with the individuals you get information from because you can't believe everything on the internet, and basically saying this is why you need to trust us over content creators. We've seen that happen quite a lot over the years, but now that we have hundreds of thousands of views on these posts and on these articles, and gamers are pointing and laughing at Access Media and Jeff Grubb, I think it's only really going to get worse for them, and they deserve it. They could at least apologize and say, oh yeah, we credited Jeff because that's the first one that we saw, which still would be bullshit, but at least they would be acknowledging the situation, but that's not going to happen. It goes on to say the bigger problem here is how mainstream gaming outlets seemingly all fell in line behind his tweet, referencing him or Eurogamer as the story's primary source, despite his severe lack of evidence, information, or original reporting. The fact that these outlets didn't even attempt to acknowledge Grumm's initial tweet or my subsequent article exposes a deeper issue, a cozy echo chamber designed to protect their own while ignoring independent creators. It has been that way for literally forever. So that's also not surprising. But again, it is very disappointing. These are the people who claim to be very tolerant of individuals with opinions that differ from theirs until you start questioning their legitimacy. And then, oh my God, you're just a bigot, you're an ister, you're a phobe, and you're not to be trusted when it comes to your scoops. This situation is Exhibit A in why mainstream games journalism is crumbling. Publications that once long ago prided themselves on investigative work have now devolved into glorified PR outlets for AAA studios. You can't even trust the individuals like Jeff Keighley in the industry who claim to want to put on events for the greater good of gaming because they are also being paid off. Like, you cannot take anything in the mainstream seriously anymore, and that sucks. They're prioritizing clicks and narrative over the truth. Meanwhile, real gamers on platforms like YouTube and Twitter are the ones doing the actual work, digging deep, asking tough questions, and delivering accurate information without corporate filters. Even Hypnotic is saying so. It seems Jeff Grubb, an Access Media Urinalist, has decided it was in his best interest to steal and be credited for the information regarding the recent departure of Veilguard's director Corinne Bush. He stole this information hours after they posted it on their social media pages, and yeah, it is sad to see that content creators can never catch a break or never get an opportunity from the mainstream media because the mainstream media is terrified. They know that they're very quickly losing their jobs, their outlets are crumbling around them, and they're trying to hold on for dear life, but it's really not working out for them, and they make themselves look like massive jokes. So will any of these outlets issue statements and clarifications and apologies? Probably not, because Jeff is one of their own and they love to protect their own in their little nice cozy echo chamber. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.